Happy New Year! I hope that 2026 is full of wonderful things for you. And in this video, we'll be covering the best console mods of 2025 in Baldur's Gate 3's Mod Manager. We got about 700 new mods that were added to PlayStation 5 and Xbox over the year, and I'll be breaking down 100 plus of the mods that I think are exceptional and worth checking out. Now, I want to first address the dragon in the room here. Dragon mods are a hot topic on console, and a lot of them don't work that well, unfortunately. But one that I want to start off with is the Purple Dragon Knight 2024 New Dragons animation by Subclass. This is by far the best dragon class mod, as it doesn't cause a lot of crashes on console like some of the others do, most notably PlayStation 5. And I've tested this one pretty thoroughly, and it works fantastically on PlayStation 5. And with this dragon, it can hover to avoid difficult terrain. You can have it change size to fit through doorways. You can actually carry yourself using this dragon. The thing is, the dragon doesn't have animations in the game because the only one that we see is a couple very large dragons. This is scaled down, but Subclass done an amazing job making this work. I also want to give a mention to their 5e Ranger subclasses, which released in 2025. Unfortunately, the Drake Warden is not currently on console, but hopefully in the new year we'll see that come because you got more options for elemental choices with the dragon. And I think this is one of the best Ranger subclasses of all time. There's also the Fey Wanderer, which this one is available on console, Horizon Walker, the Monster Slayer, Primeval Guardian, I Am Groot. These are really fun, definitely worth checking it out. I also want to mention their Cleric subclass is combined with the Arcana domain, Forge domain, which is fire focused, the Grave domain, which can apply a vulnerability to any damage type on the enemy, a great support, the Order domain, one of my favorites, the Peace domain, and Twilight domain clerics. But yeah, if you currently want a dragon on console, Purple Dragon Knight is the way to go. Now, 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons fans got an amazing gift this year from both Sumer Dagnoth and Incognito Burrito. This one just released at the end of November, now available on console, which is incredible. This rogue subclass offers the Inquisitive, Mastermind, Phantom Scout, and Soul Knight. 5 new subclasses for the Rogue. And what's cool is these icons were actually made by Sumer Dagnoth. They've been doing a lot of cool collaboration. In addition to this, the Drake Warden also had a collab from Incognito Burrito, so they're really carrying the 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. They also released the Book of Sorcerers. This is my favorite because honestly, the Aberrant Mind fit perfectly in Baldur's Gate 3. I'm surprised it wasn't because one of the origins for this subclass in D&D is actually the story of Baldur's Gate 3. So amazing to now have this, and it literally feels like something that comes from Larian. It's that well done. And we also got the Clockwork Soul, a more tanky version. The Divine Soul, my favorite, which is quite powerful because it gets cleric spells like Spirit Guardians. And Lunar Sorcery, which is a fun subclass. All 4 of these are very well done. We also got their Book of Druid subclass mod here, offering the Circle of Dreams, Shepherd, and Wildfire subclasses. And the Wizards as well. We also got the War Magic and Order of Scribes. I really like the Order of Scribes because you can summon in the Spectral Book and cast your spells through it. War Magic's also got some defensive abilities, which I think are great. Definitely worth checking these out. I've done builds on all of their mods, and they even have single subclasses if you just wanted certain ones there. Next up, we got another very popular with the D&D community, the Blood Hunter class. This is by Lemon Soup. Glad that this is now available on console. It's actually made by Matt Mercer, who voices Minsk in Baldur's Gate 3. And funny enough, this subclass or class mod was actually made for Vin Diesel for one of their D&D campaigns. You get different blood curses here. Now, these are cool because you can take damage to apply them. You also get to apply fire, lightning, or cold damage onto your weapon, and it also hurts you to be able to do that. I've done builds covering the 4 different subclasses. The Ghost Slayer is kind of like a paladin with some radiant extra damage. The Lycan turns yourself into a werewolf. Currently on console, you can't turn into a werewolf, but there is an additional mod for this. The Mutant is like the Witcher. You got a bunch of different concoctions that could buff you up and also give you a negative effect. And the Profane Soul is kind of like a diet version of the Warlock. And it's fun because as you level up, your damage that you deal to yourself will level up as well. Another class mod I want to mention, a very underrated one, is the Zephyr, a Whirlwind of Blades by the Wailing Bard. This is awesome. It has 8 different subclasses here, all with a fun theme to them, and no AI used. Really well done here. We got the Adamant Arrow, Battle Dancer, Dragoon, which I did a build on, the Martial Artist, Necro Dancer, which I also did a build on this one, Neverlander, for fans of Peter Pan, Serpent Souled, and Weave Dancer. Each of these subclasses is unlike anything that you've seen on console before, so if you want one of the highest value to fun payoffs for mods, the Wailing Bard Zephyr class mod is definitely one of them. This class is all about dexterity, and I really like that concept here. So yeah, you get different Zephyr weapons, which are any weapons that are light, finesse, or thrown, so you can really build around a bunch of different builds in terms of these 8 different subclasses. On top of it, it also has a level 20 support, which even increases your dexterity up to a max 24. So really fun scaling, and I think it's very well balanced within Baldur's Gate 3 as well. Can't say enough good things about the Wailing Bards mods. Now, if you want more specific subclasses, I can't recommend Halves Glimpse mods enough, because they've done different adaptations of different homebrews into Baldur's Gate 3, and they've had a lot of mods come to console over the year. Here's a list of all of them that are currently on PlayStation 5 and Xbox. Yeah, you can see that's quite a bit. 30 total mods between things like the Hedge Mage, the Way of the Mistweaver Monk, Green Reaper Ranger, Eldritch Domain Cleric, Way of the Wind Walker Monk, Arcanist, Sorcerer, Houndmaster Fighter, Winterwalker Ranger, Oath of Pestilence Paladin, Path of the Corpse Eater Barbarian, Unbroken Circle Druid, Debonair Rogue, Grim Surgeon Rogue, College of Tragedy Bard, Graviturgy Magic Wizard, Circle of Winter Druid, Aberrant Mind Sorcerer, Frozen Sorcery, Pyromancer Sorcerer, Night Domain Cleric, Circle of Blood Druid, and Oath of Conquest Paladin. That was the first one that came to console. Now we got 30 of them on console. Definitely worth checking out if any of those sounded interesting to you. And one thing about their mods, they all have level 20 support here, and lots of cool effects, custom icons, spells, you name it, it has it. It's cool. I really like the Blood Elementals for the Circle of Blood Druid. And next up, another very well done class mod is the Sword Dancers of Illustri. This is made by ZX10RX. I love this class mod. If you're a fan of D&D, you'll know the Sword Dancers of Illustri. And if you have no idea what that even means, you'll still enjoy this subclass. It's similar to the Mind Weaver, which is one of their other subclasses, meaning you're getting a ton of unique icons, effects, spells, you name it. It, again, has everything you can imagine for a Sword Dancer of Illustri. It started off with 2 subclasses. This now has a 3rd. And you can see there, all of these different spells, similar to the ones that were from the Mind Weaver, which I really enjoyed, like Moonlight Shards and things like that there. So yeah, custom VFX that just look out of this world incredible. And not that it released this year, it released last year, but the Mind Weaver had some big updates over the last year. We got things like the Soul Scion, Mindblade Magus, and the Shadow Mind, which released. But yeah, the Sword Dancer of Illustri are amazing and definitely worth checking out. A very popular one, Solo Leveling Class by Eddie Main here. Now, this one is honestly extremely popular. If you like power fantasy and if you like anime, this is the one for you. So yeah, this has a few different cantrips here. You can take over and create summons. I did a full build on this, and it's honestly one of my most popular spell mods, or class mod videos. So I may talk about this again just because people really like this. And if you haven't watched it and are a fan of anime, Solo Leveling is a really fun anime. Alex Lee, great voice actor. So yeah, it's very well done here by Eddie Main 21. Next up, we got the War Dancer class. I'm a big fan of dexterity-based classes, and this has 3 different versions of that. You got a full support with the Dawnflower here. The Blade Dancer is an offensive multi-hit, and then there's Balance summoned with Weavstress. So between these 3 ones, support, you got your offensive attacker here, and then this one's here more support. But these, you can summon these turrets that can heal or harm enemies, and I think it's a really fun mod that's definitely worth checking out. Also by Eclipse here is the Maidens of Valhalla Valkyrie class mod. Now I've done a video on this one here. This class comes with really fun Norse mythology themed abilities here. So you get some different attacks. You're kind of like a paladin, but you also get different subclass choices that will impact your offensive abilities, and then kind of like utility based options. So this is another one that I did a full video on, so you can check this out if you're curious. Maidens of War, Daybreak, and Valhalla. And you can pick between Heimdallr, Skadi, Ullr, Baldur, Vidar, Freya, and many more Norse mythology characters to give yourself different spells and passives. Skadi's World of Ice, that's really cool. I like that one a lot. Wherever you walk, you leave an ice surface. It does become a little bit challenging. But another one that I want to talk about is the Sniper class by Eclipse as well. There's nothing else like this class mod in Baldur's Gate 3. You get this sniper shot ability here, and you have to be from long range. That's what's most interesting about it, because it becomes a game of like trying to avoid the enemies as much as possible. You got a magical sniper here, which allows you to fire it, and this is another one that I've done a full build on, so if you want to check it out, it's really cool. And there's this awesome Hunter outfit, which we'll get to a bit later in this video, that fits perfectly, and the Viper steampunk rifle I loved with this. But yeah, you got 3 different subclasses. Doesn't fit the theming of and lore, because obviously sniper rifles don't exist in Baldur's Gate 3, but this is what mods are all about. It's fun, so worth checking out for something different. Another one by Eclipse, Succubus class here. I think if you've heard of what a succubus is, you'll know exactly what this is. You get lustful stacks, which you can apply to the enemy. Kind of works like radiating orbs here. You can charm enemies. It's all about these psychic abilities here, and yeah, I've also done a full build on this one here. So the Succubus class mod by Eclipse. Another fun theme class is the Ghost by Oakley_CH here. This is one that recently came to console, and it's based on the Poltergeist house in Act 3. You actually have a lot of buffs, like you see the class features there. Your character is actually quite strong, but it's more so like a utility and defense basis class. You get ghostly forms which you can toggle on. I think this is a really fun one. They've listed out all the different abilities you get at each of the levels here. This is fun with 4 different subclasses. It's worth checking out the Ghost. I love cold builds. The Oath of the Frozen Wilds Paladin subclass by G.I. George is one of the best out there with tons of cool, no pun intended, abilities. You got your Channel Oath, Heart of the Blizzard, which can do some cold damage in an area. I recently just did a build on this one and multi-classed it with my subclass mod that I released earlier in December, the College Winter Spear Bard. This is really fun though. If you want a paladin that's very cold focused, this is by far the best one out there, so worth checking out. And I also want to mention their Frost Domain Cleric. This one just recently came to console, actually, and this is very well done as well. If you like the clerics, these actually would pair very well together. You could have, if you're playing with a friend, someone play as the cold-based cleric and have yourself as the paladin, or vice versa, because paladins are like defenders, clerics are healers, and yeah, this is another very fun subclass mod. And if Power Fantasy is more your jam, the Nightbringer class mod is perfect for that. This is a strong one. I've also covered it in a build of pretty much everything here. I've got builds on if you're curious for a bit more in-depth look. This is Darkness Focus. You got ravens that you can summon in. You can brand enemies. You got that Cage of Darkness there. And whenever you apply the marks onto the enemies, you can then later do a special attack here, which will deal extra damage to anyone that's affected by your Night Brand. So Nightfall comes to the Night Brand. This is a strong class mod, but there's also armor and weapons, which will kind of debuff your character in a sense to make this feel like a little bit more balanced, but this is one you'd want to use Tactician Enhanced with. And the last class or subclass mod we'll be covering is the Fathomless Warlock by Tepkunsa. This came out in September. This is like a water-focused like tentacle, I guess, warlock. You get the Tentacle of the Deep there, which you can summon into spectral tentacle, and you get the Gift of the Sea there, which doesn't slow you down in water. You can use the tentacle to protect yourself, and you can also use it to grab and restrain enemies. This is a really fun subclass too. And this class mod actually released in 2024, the Arcane Vanguard, but I want to mention it because there are some major updates that Sathos has put into this over the year. It's truly incredible to see. We got 8 subclasses total now. The Verger's not on console currently, but it's sent for approval. And this is another mod that Sumer Dagnoth actually helped out with making the new icons for this class mod. Yeah, if you're looking for something that's very well balanced and fun to play, this is the one. I love the new icons here. The Grave Knight is such a cool one. As far as spell mods go, we didn't get a lot of them to console over the last year. However, the ones we did get were high quality. The first one I want to talk about is not new spells, rather changes to the ones we already have in the base game. This is the 2024 spell updates by Mob Talon. I get questions all the time, why didn't Larry use the 2024 Player's Handbook rule set when they made Baldur's Gate 3? Well, Baldur's Gate 3 came out in 2023, but on top of that, Baldur's Gate 3 was spent, they made it over the course of like 6-7 years, so yeah, that's why they used the 2014 rule set, not 2024. However, massive changes to pretty much every single spell. Like, this is the cantrip changes alone here. And yeah, I've done a full video where I broke down every single change on this. So if you want to see it in full detail, because I gotta say, there's a lot, I can't go over every single change here, but for better or for worse, it's changed the 2024 rule set. If you don't like the 2024 rule set that's on D&D, not Mob Talon, just a heads up on that. But there's a lot of changes. They made it fully changed to feel much like the rule set that is now on tabletop. And they even changed the level 9 power word kill spell that you can get by playing Dark Urge. Super cool. Next up, some of the best. You'll probably recognize these. Dawnstar's Necromancy spells by Dawnstar. Dawnstar's Grimoire. The asterisk on this one is that if you're playing on PS5, the nature spells don't work. So I would recommend skipping this mod altogether if you're on only PlayStation 5. However, if you're going to use this on PlayStation 5, just don't use any of the nature-based cantrips. They'll be pretty clear which ones they are. There's only 4 of them there, so don't use those ones. You'll be fine. Telekinetic spells as well. I'll just go through the VFX because, yeah, being able to summon in this big purple skeleton feeling like you're Revenant from Elden Ring Night Train is super cool. So, yeah, the Necromancy spells, if you're going to play a Necromancer Wizard, you have to download this mod because otherwise you're not going to get the full experience. This is just out of this world next level. Homebrewed spells that are very well done, and, yeah, the animations that you see are, yeah, real. Here's Dawnstar's Grimoire here. They do have some blood-focused spells, so if you're, again, going to be doing like a Necromancer and you want a bit more, yeah, you can go ahead with this here. Great for Druids as well. Really got a whole lot of everything in this. They also released their Arcane Spells mod, not currently on console, just came to PC. I also did a video on the telekinetic spells here where I did a Red Witch class mod build, which kind of feels like Scarlet Witch there. This one's mostly focused around throwing things around and using your red telekinetic powers, but yeah, can't say enough good things about all of Dawnstar's mods, and we'll hopefully see some more with their Psychic Weapons mod being worked on currently on their Patreon. Very cool stuff in coming next to Baldur's Gate 3. Another fantastic mod is the Blood Rager spell pack here by Von Smash. Now, if you haven't tried the Blood Rager, this is a really fun class mod because it takes what's great about the Barbarian and what's great about the Sorcerer and combines them all together. This adds in a bunch of different spells that complement this, and also you can really use with anybody here. So yeah, a bunch of weapons that you can summon in, and then also you can restrain things. They got that Howl there. Yeah, the Blood Rager spell pack is a lot of fun. This is a mod that I will be doing a future video on, so you can stay tuned for that. We also got Roland spells somewhat recently. This came out at the end of November by Poppy here. And if you're a fan of Roland, this is a must-have mod because he actually has his own unique versions of spells that he can use in the game whenever you gather your allies near the end game. These are available for Wizard, Sorcerer, Arcane Trickster, and Eldritch Knight. Increase your armor class by 2. That's a better mage armor. It's kind of like Shield of Faith. Roland's Thunderwave, which pushes back 12 meters and knocks them prone. Roland's Color Spray, which confuses instead of blinds, up to 44 health. Magic Missile, which is 1 dart instead of multiple, and it can daze targets, and his Fireball, which can reapply damage like heat metal. Super cool stuff, and very fun if you like new spells that are actually in the game, so it feels natural. Now, this mod isn't really a mod per se that has spells, but more so scrolls of Mistras. Now, this is by Random Killer here. If you haven't tried out Mistra spells, this has 135 spells from 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. I really like Steel Wind Strike. I also did a video where I broke down all the different spells, so you can go over that if you're curious. But Mr. Scrolls adds these in, so if you're a wizard, want to learn these from Scrolls or use them as Scrolls, unfortunately it doesn't have go into random loop, but if you're using one of the other mods by Gabe Kamamescro, the Gabe's Fun Pack, I'll talk about that later, but this can randomize and add these in. And we also got one other spell mod. There's not a lot of spell mods, unfortunately, but Tasha's additional spells by ZZ Superman adds Green Flame Blade, Intellect Fortress, Spirit Shroud, and Summon Celestial. I do want to mention that Mistress Spells has these spells, but if you just want a few of them, here it is. At the start of the year, console race mods were not a thing, and thanks to Ace and Gabe Kamamescro, they now are a thing. So Ace released a lot of mods in response to the videos that I made talking about consoles not getting race mods. And thank you, Ace, for doing this. This adds in 10 monster races. It is a equipable underwear that changes you into these appearances here. They've done a few different appearances based on different races. So if you want to play as like a Drider there, different recolored versions of them. Now, there is limitations. Unfortunately, console race mods just cause crashes, but this kind of does the trick here because it covers a lot of bases, and there's more I'll get to in just a moment. I've done a full video on it, but there's also their races here, the Devil races, which adds in. What's cool about it is it actually has versions of the companions, so like a Devil Azazel, Shadowheart, Astarion, Halsin, Minthara, Karlak, Will. So yeah, you can literally change them all or make yourself look like any of the different choices that they have here, all with different outfits and appearances. Really cool stuff, honestly. There's a lot of options. There's also the automatons here, which is definitely a cool one. A lot of people are actually asking for it. Kobolds, which was the second most requested race mod here, and they come with a variety of different colors. The PC version of this, you don't have this much option, so Ace really went all out on here. The Ace Goblins is really cool. This is the first one that she made here because there's Goblin versions of all the companions too. If you want to do a full Goblin run, this is the way to do it on console. So yeah, very cool stuff. And we also got their Ghosts and Undead recently. This adds in like the blood-soaked skeletons here, which I think are really cool. Some zombies. And then you can also have a zombie pose. I really like just the regular and the bloody skeletons there. You can feel like you're Fane from Divinity Original Sin 2. Another one I want to talk about is their Ace, Tall, and Small. So if you want to be like a fairy, there's a Fairy Wing mod that's available on console you could use alongside this. And then Tall for if you want to play a Goliath or the Giants. And I'll also mention the Fairy Wing underwear, which actually came out November 29th. So this is a recent mod made by Snail Destruction, which lets you fly around like a fairy. You can combine these for some coolness. Also, this is huge. So I actually did a full video on this here. Transmogs and Spell Theft. This mod actually lets you take over any character and become them. And this opens the doors for custom companions. Now, the problem was, previously on Baldur's Gate 3, you weren't able to change certain characters if you used the Origin Mirror Unlock. You could only change origins. You couldn't change like Halsin or Minsk or Minthara like you're seeing right here. I cracked the code using this Spell Theft mod. It's actually possible. I have a full video on that. And yeah, this is actually crazy because for the longest time, people said that this was not possible, and it is. So if you want Minthara and even Shadowheart, which you previously weren't able to change, looking different, you can do that using this mod here, Detransmogs and Spell Theft. Check out my full video for a full guide. I also want to briefly mention Ace Cat Backpack. This just got released on console, and what I love most about it is Ace actually included my Cat Hunter in this, so thank you so much for that, Ace. I really do appreciate that. Now, Baldur's Gate 3 actually got a massive, literally a DLC size mod here, and this is blowing me away that this is on console, but we actually got the Rise of the Gold members, randomized content, new challenges, encounters mod here by It's Me, Waldo. Now, I actually did a full video where I broke this down because there's a lot that's going on with this mod. Basically, you get a bunch of different items and loot that you can get. There's challenges, and as you go through combat, you can encounter special gold versions of enemies. So whenever you get yourself into a fight, they may show up and have a gold tint to them. These are going to be much more powerful, actually extremely powerful enemies, and they get random buffs. Like this one came with a +2 strength from the Owlbear's Rage and many other things. So yeah, peak challenge. If you're looking for some cool new loot and things, this is the mod to do it with. And yeah, you get new characters that show up. It's a new faction as well, the gold members with challenges, fighting enemies. It's worth checking out. Now, if you're a fan of customization, you had a fantastic year on console because some of my favorite mods, I have a lot of Nexus mods, Patreon mods, and honestly, some of the best are actually on consoles, to be completely frank with you. I see a lot of people say, oh, I want to make this character, but there's a lot of work that goes into making certain characters, and when things like Sculptor's Dream Cache here by Tabble Dabble are available on console, it's seriously incredible. So that's the face that you're seeing on my character here. I'm just going to go through there so you can see what it looks like on Dwarves, Halflings, Gnomes, Githyanki, Drow, and strong body types. We also got half-orc faces, pretty much every single race here. And not only just body types 1 and 3, but there's also one head mod here that's a change to Astarion that is body type for body types 2 there. Not only that, but we do have a lot of other mods here that have body type 2 and 4 heads here, but this is one of my favorites. I like to use the Charlotte here. It's the Misk Work in Progress mod here by Tabble Dabble. Definitely worth checking out. Another fantastic head mod is Coralina's Aesthetics, the head collection here. This is ported over by Eclipse by Coralina, and this adds in some really nice heads that are different from what we previously had available on console. There is another version of this, even more heads, which is my preferred choice because it has really nice ones here like the Chloe head and Arachne. I really like this one as there's no other heads like this that are available really anywheres, and it just comes with a lot of great choices. And if you're looking for body type 2 and 4, Tori's new CC presets by Tori Assist from Padme 4000 are amazing here. So let's quickly go through here because we have a lot of head mods to cover. My recommendation is to download a number of these and go into the game, create a character, find the face mod you want, and then delete the rest. What I like about this is it has literally a face for Timothée Chalamet here, which is really funny. So yeah, there's Timothée Chalamet, kind of funny. Yeah, lots of great options here. And if you're looking for more heads, this is the way to go. Also, Mantis Phase Presets Collection 1. There's a lot of Mantis mods. They are all worth checking out. This one adds in a few more faces here for both body types 1 and 2 here. I'm not going to even try to pronounce the names, but you can get the idea just from the appearance that you see here. I think these are amazing. And honestly, anything that Mantis Mods makes is really well done. We also got the Tasha's Cauldron of Faces by Tasha Weeds, ported by Eclipse here, which adds in a bunch more faces into the game. So let's quickly go through these here so you can get an idea of what they look like. We also got Rox's Heads by Rox Airy here, which adds in even more head choices here for Elves, Drow, Half-Elf, body type 2 and 4, and then there's one for Tieflings as well there. So you can see what these all look like. Pretty cool stuff. Also, Moonlight Horn Collection. Now, this is another nice mod here by Moon Blossom that adds in some horns that are very different from what we already have in the base game. You can get some really creative looking tabs going with this. And you'd also want to include the all heads, all horns, all everything for all races by Eclipse here, which lets you use any of those horns on any of your characters. So if you wanted to add them onto your Drow or your Half-Elf, you can really do whatever you want here. And this is fully compatible with all horn mods as well. I also want to mention a really nice mod here, the Eyes by Tabitha by Tabble Dabble here. This is really, after getting this mod, I don't really use any of the others because the options that you get are just so vibrant and they're great, honestly. So there's some pretty intense blues there. We got Karlach's Red Eyes, if you want to add those to your character, and some bright pink ones. These are really cool, like the pupils that have no sclera to them. And then you have some other choices here that are a bit more intense. But yeah, lots of customization here. It's just really nice. Also, Amanda Hairstyle by Kazi Sims. This, you can see it all from here. It has great dye support though. The front bangs can actually get dyed really well. This is one of my favorite hair mods, and it's available on console. Great stuff. If you're looking for a larger selection, Tav's Hair Salon by Tori has 150 plus hairstyles. I've been through them a lot before, but yeah, 150 different options here. If you were to download one pack for hairs, this would be the one to download because it really does cover pretty much all bases here. You can create a lot of different stuff. I also want to recommend a mod from 2024, the Bangs Everywhere. That's how I'm doing this, by using something like this and having bangs on it so you can really get custom with your character's creation. However, this mod is a separate one. So yeah, Tav's Hair Salon, amazing stuff. Tash's Cauldron of Hairstyles here by Clips is another very popular one. Honestly, any of the Tash's mods are worth checking out as well. Now, something that I want to point out is Rogue Tattoo. This is really cool because previously there was no body tattoos on console. That's something that was exclusive to PC. What you have to do is you have to start a new game, select Draconic Sorcerer, and then you're going to select from the different body art here what you want on your character. You can color with the scale color, and then you're just going to swap off and play whatever class you want. It's really easy to set up. I've seen some people having issues with it, but honestly, yeah, just follow the instructions in the mod page. It's very well done. And yeah, body tattoos look really cool. You can be Baldur from God of War. And bridging the gap from customization, we got Transmogrification Lite. Now, there's one on PC that is fantastic, and hopefully we'll see something similar in the future, perhaps. This is made by World Walker 42. There's separate mods that let you do different armor sets that are not included. This just works on base game gear. And you can make certain things like cloaks invisible if you wanted to with this mod. Hopefully we'll see some more stuff come for this because I think this is a really fun mod. And yeah, there's other options out there if you're on PC, but for consoles, this is fantastic. I am so stoked Ethereal Threads is now available on console. This outfit my character's wearing this whole video is part of this. Now, I've been asked about these outfits so many times. This mod by Aridea is fantastic. And here's another dress that is included. I love the appearances of these. They are so well done, and I use a lot of the different mods by Aridea. They're only available on console except for this mod, but yeah, you can see it here. These are all next level, so if you're looking for outfits, this is my #1 most recommended outfit mod that's available on console. It's seriously so great. Now, #2 most is the Femme Fatale Tactical Dress. I love this outfit mod because I've been using it in a lot of my videos for a very long time here. Anything by Scurby I can vouch for. They're all amazing mods. But this outfit, it actually feels somewhat thematic to Baldur's Gate 3. So you can use this, and it has full dye support too. There's a few different body type ones. And yeah, just another amazing mod by Scurby. Pretty much anything they make is amazing. Everything they make is amazing. We also have their Spartan Warrior set here, which can make your character kind of ripped. So if you're looking to be one of the 300, yeah, this is awesome. Great for ancient Greek fans, and it adds a bit of like sweat and muscles to the body. So this is cool. Also, the Armor of the Worthy here by Scurby. This is, I didn't know this, but this is like a Tifa outfit, I guess, from one of the games. But yeah, this is another outfit that looks cool with full dye support as well. And getting into some huge mods here by Ren. This one, the Valkyrie Queen, is honestly mind-blowing. This is available on console now. It adds in this full armor set here. And not only that, there's a fully dyeable version of it as well. So you can use the one that has the normal silver there, or you can use this and dye it. And even without dye, it looks really cool with the white on there. So yeah, this is one of my favorite outfit mods. And honestly, all the outfits by Ren mods are great. There's a Raven Queen outfit. This one, unfortunately, has some issues on console where it's a kind of split between camp clothing and other outfits. It's a little different than the PC version. The Woodland Elf doesn't have this issue here. This one is great, especially because you can get the horns there if you wanted to play like a druid. It's perfectly thematic. The Dawn Maid outfit kind of suffers the same issue that the Raven Queen outfit has. But my favorite is the Hunter outfit here. So that's the outfit that I have on my character currently right now. And what's great about this is it comes with this cloak that you don't even have to equip. You can take it off, and then it also looks like a great armor set here. Some leather, love it, it's awesome. Now, we also got the Tash's Cauldron outfits here by Eclipse. Again, made by Tashaweeds. This offers some outfits that are like hit bashed and looks amazing within Baldur's Gate 3. So if you're looking for some more outfits, this is another great one with lots of options here. You'll find something that you'll find great for your character. So just got to mention that one there. Another one I've used in a lot of videos is the Divine Sister Robe by Scurby. This one I think is the most like, it feels like it should be within Baldur's Gate 3 the most. It looks cool, full dye support, and you can do a lot of cool stuff with it. Now, another mod that I got to highlight here is Knights and Dames. This is the mod that I recommend #1 for people that are looking for armor that, you know, you can dye and it feels natural to Baldur's Gate 3. This is what I have on Gale right now. So this is 44 different pieces of armor within this. And also, you get helmets, All the armor looks nice, fully dyeable too, and it's using base game armor sets. You can see that there on Gale. It's kit bash, different pieces of armor all put together. You got things like the, if you want Dame Aylin's armor here, you can use that. There's also the Dream Guardian armor and many others, the Baldur's Gate 3 watch armor. So yeah, I can't recommend this one enough. It's great for any type of armor playthrough. And again, their dyes are so great. This mod made by Artie Henrietta is fantastic. Now, on the other opposite end of the spectrum here, we got firearms. So you got knights in armor and firearms. This is really cool. I really enjoy this because there's a lot of different weapon mods, and this one's more vintage, but the blunderbuss is really cool there. There's also the cowgirl clothing, which comes with a rifle too. Honestly, anything that they've made is fantastic and worth checking out. I can't say enough good things about Scurvy's mods. They're just so great. So yeah. Also, this is a new one that we just recently got on console. Actually, it came out on December 2nd, 2025, and it's available on console. The Copperleaf's Alchemist's Daughter. Anything by Copperleafs is great as well. These are progressive armor sets. They have a bunch of different abilities. You power them up as you continue to level. This kind of feels like a class within an armor set. It's for people that want to play as like a grenadier type alchemist. So yeah, I love this armor set. It looks really cool. The little Susur dagger there. Now, one of the biggest equipment mods is Fade's Equipment Distribution All-in-One, which has over 400 items into the game. This is a accumulation of all of their separate mods that have released over the years. So if you've seen any of these other ones here, just download the All-in-One. It's going to have all these included, save you on the mod load order. This adds in items to the game naturally that you can explore and find. It's seriously so amazing. Graphic Fade has done a lot of good for Baldur's Gate 3 with making this because it adds like literally thousands of hours of replayability. Here's all the different mods that are included within this. Also, they released earlier this year, or later this year, almost over a month ago, the Fade's Assorted Treasure expansion, which is expanding on their idea of the equipment distribution. This adds some more items into the game, but also adds in like loot to areas that are a little bit less utilized. There's also platinum coins here, which you can find, which you can sell for a bit more money, because the economy of Baldur's Gate 3 isn't always the kindest to the player without them cheesing, so this actually makes things feel a little bit more balanced. Highly recommend this. This is a work in progress, though. It's not fully done, so expect more updates over the 2026 year to this mod. Feels weird to say 2026. Anyways, we also got hybrid UI here. This is for console players in mind because it changed the UI. I did a video previously when this came out, kind of breaking down the changes. You can just imagine how it looks a little bit different than your normal experience. This is a really cool one, and we're checking it out. You can download this, see if you like it, uninstall it if you don't, but honestly, it just cleans things up. PC's got their own version, so it's nice to have one with like console players in mind. Another thing that's amazing, all players in dialogue here by X_Chuck_X. This will make it so that every time that you go into dialogue, it's going to have everybody. You bring your friends, and no matter what the odds, yeah, you got your friends with you here. This is a cool one. It just changes how the dialogue and everything will appear with everybody being present. Can lead to some really funny scenes. Another one that I think is essential. This is the camp event overhaul. This was released in October by Hyperspace Towel. Honestly, any of their mods are fantastic as well. This makes it so you're not going to be missing some of the really easy to miss events at camp. It's just going to basically make these more likely to happen because sometimes things like the first night contemplation, if you walk to a certain point, it cuts you out of this. There's actually a lot of these. The Ceramorphosis nights 1, 2, and 3. Most people have not ever seen these. This will give you, because you're probably playing through Act 1 hundreds of times, you'll see some new stuff while using this mod. So yeah, Astarian's Tasting Party, that's the actual name of the scene. Bite Night, there's so many different camp mods here. We also have a few other mods by them on console, and we'll hopefully see some more. We have Minthara's Poison Kiss and Sit with Astarian. Sitting with Astarian will make him say one of like 50 different lines, and then Minthara's Poison Kiss gives you the option if you're romancing Minthara. Normally, it only has a 1 in 100 chance where you kiss her and you get covered in this poison because she's trying to warm you up so that when you go back to Menzoberranzan with her, you're not going to get impacted by the poison. So yeah, it's a very rare thing. This now makes it a 1 in 10 chance versus a 1 in 100. Love all their mods. If you want to see the game from a different perspective, Azazel was taken and their redesigns. This one is a mix-up with Linnea here, which makes removes the lobster-looking appearance from Orin and makes it look just really cool. So I can't recommend these enough. I'm also a really big fan of the Mistra's mod here, which changes how Mistra looks. That's how Mistra normally looks. This feels a little bit more like how Mistra should look. So yeah, they have two different versions of these. It makes it feel a little bit more natural. They also have ones for like the Grove and many other areas that I highly recommend checking out. Now, these are cool. This is the Just a Better Torch by -CH- and the Act 1 night mode. There's an Act 2 day mode, an Act 3 night mode, and an Act 3 blood moon. This changes how Baldur's Gate 3 looks, and you need this torch because otherwise things are really dark with the torch. This makes the torch actually light things up and cast shadows. But yeah, I highly recommend this mod. It's so cool to play through the game again and have a different feel. This kind of adds to the Baldur's Gate 3 multiverse that I talked about where things are a little bit different. And mods like this where you can change the visuals of characters further add to that. So this is definitely worth checking out. Now, if you like photo mode and want to have a very high value to mod ratio, the Faerun Fashionistas Mega Pose Pack by Axiana and many others here is now available on console. This is the one photo mode mod you need to download. Unfortunately, on console, if you have more than one photo mode mod, there's issues. There's an extra mod that you got to download. And with console players only having access to 100 mods, this is fantastic because you get 660 poses and 47 expressions added from Axiana, Alita, Aliana, Ophel, Bambi, Barry, Kay, Daniela, Echo, M, Goblin, Haster's Queen, House, Lila, Mary, Megan, Munchie, Noag, Raycor, Soul, Stargazing Volcano, and Volitio. Amazing stuff here, and definitely worth checking out. There's so many cool different poses here. Great if you're playing with friends or if you're significant other and you want to take pictures with your characters. The last two mods are some of the biggest that we've got on console. Baldur's Gate 3 Chocolate Edition by Creative Excuses is amazing. This changes everything. I did a full video where I talked about this mod, and it was an hour long. He also has a 60-page PDF breaking down all of the changes that come with this mod, and honestly, it's very well done. It makes a lot of the things in Baldur's Gate 3 that just weren't as good feel a lot more powerful. 15 new feats. There's major changes to all the subclasses. Again, I've done a video breaking this down, so if you want to see this in full detail, you can check that video out. And finally, this is a massive mod, Gabe's Fun Pack by Gabe Kamameskro. I did a full video on this one, and this is another one that I feel like is a DLC size mod, so you can check this out if you're curious, because it adds 22 different mods into the game. It adds a loot randomizer. This is the only one that doesn't add a bunch of items in. Ancient Mega Pack adds 2,000 items. This doesn't. It just adds a simple toggle, and you can make it so that it toggles vendors or quest rewards. Lots of customization. There's also the Mystic Forge. You get a bag, which if you put 4 items in, you get a random item of the game. Really cool. There's Treasure Goblins. And again, this is all a bunch of mods compiled into one with console players in mind. So really, thank you, Gabe Kamameskro, for doing this. There's also an undead crafting mod, which lets you create your own undead. There's Gabe's Pets, which gives a bunch of different summon. The Restless Dead, which lets you toggle on or off if you want enemies to sometimes come back from the dead, which is really fun to fight against them again. Bunch of explosives. Plague, which is diseases, spells, really fun. Any summon can be a vendor. Dwarf Tossing, which makes explosive dwarfs. There's much more. I did a full video breaking this down, so you can check that out if you're curious. But honestly, what an amazing year for console players in Baldur's Gate 3. Some of my favorite PC mods were made available to console over the year, and some that I did not even think were possible. And things like Spell Theft, which now lets you create different customizations to your companions that previously were not possible. So honestly, lots of great stuff that happened in 2025, and I think we're going to have an amazing year in 2026. I'm hopeful that my mod, the College of Winter Spirit, will come to console at some point. I'm also almost finished on my second mod here, which will hopefully get released sometime next week. So expect lots of amazing things in 2026. I hope you all have an amazing day. Subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and we'll catch you all in the next one.